It's a Monday. We're on time. It's two ball guys on the right, and Will Rooney is broadcasting from an undisclosed location that is undisclosed because the IRS is looking for him.
As usual. They want more money.
Yeah, well, it's only going to get worse when they pass that law that every $600 amount you spend, they have the right to investigate what you're spending the money on. I mean, it was $10,000. Now they want to make it $600. They're going to need like 8 times the amount of IRS officers to keep up.
Oh, there's some of our tax money gone right there.
Well, I mean, they are growing jobs. That's what that is all about. Tell you
Sure.
what a busy weekend. Joe Biden was back in Delaware, and he was riding his bicycle. Bicycle. Joe Biden riding the bicycle without training wheels. He has moved on from the training wheels.
It only took him like 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, he only took him about 20 years. But and the root of this is everybody is out doing something, but nobody is doing anything in Del Rio, Texas. Here's Biden riding his bike, well, along with Joe Biden. I'm super cool. Look at me. I'm riding a bike. I can do it. All right. I give him the thumbs up. And Kamala over the weekend was out and about. She was flipping the coin. Yeah, big football game going on. And she couldn't be at the border. She was busy. It was the homecoming for Howard University and predominantly black university. Howard, and I'm trying to think of who's the other team. Anyway, Kamala, she was too busy flipping the coin to be at the southern border. Here's Kamala and the coin flip.
Madam Vice President.
Oh, she's got her own coin. Look at that, Will. So she's got her own coin. Wow, congratulations going out to Kamala. She's got her own coin, and she's coin flipping. Ain't got time to go to the southern border. Ain't got time. Look, there were people on our radio show that said we were lying about 15,000 Haitians being at the southern border. And
liberals that called in and were just, adamant that we were making all of this up.
So when I went and found the news source for this that shows all of them under a bridge, by the way, they have started deportation of the Haitians. They must vote Republican. But
I was going to say, why is and look, we don't have room for any of these people coming into our country. However, why are we picking and choosing who gets to go home and who gets to stay? I mean,
so the Cubans, you got to go.
Yeah.
The Haitians, you got to go. So I'm thinking I know the Cubans vote Republican, and the Haitians must vote Republican too, because the southern border, we're housing people at $725 a day. My God. But Haitians, they got to go. So when I went and found the video, I made sure and find something from CBS, ABC, MSNBC. That way, maybe liberals will believe that there are 15,000 Haitians under a bridge in Texas, in Del Rio, Texas. Here's footage from that.
Nearly 15,000 migrants, most from Haiti, turning a patch of dirt beneath a border bridge into an immigration flashpoint. The group swelling so fast, Texas state troopers forced to park on the banks of the Rio Grande River.
And by the way, the Del Rio, Texas, town of about 35,000. I know it well. I used to run radio stations close to Del Rio, and their mayor is actually a liberal, gay man, and that said, I'm done. We can't do it. And I got friends of mine that live in Del Rio that said they're very scared that these people will find out they're all going to be deported. And you got 15,000 under a bridge. Yesterday, they started deporting some of them, but they said they're very scared because what's going to happen when these people find out they're being deported and they get very angry and go into town? It's about a mile from where they are located into town of Del Rio. And why isn't anybody worried about the safety of the residents of Del Rio and Texas, not only for violence, but also for all kind of viruses and diseases that are running rampant in the.
We've had measles outbreaks. We've had, obviously without COVID-19 goes without saying. That's one of the main ones. But, they're going to continue to let these folks come in unvetted, unvaccinated. But let's go back for a second, because I see the White House press conference, and probably some of the toughest questions I've seen asked of Jen Psaki was, why are we making these Haitians go back when we're letting people from South America stay? Is it because is it because of the color of their skin? That was the only question that wasn't asked. But they alluded to everything up to that. But it was like, why are we deporting? And then we're paying for these people to fly home, and then fly home to what?
And
Haiti was just devastated by a earthquake. So what are we going to do?
The bigger question is, how did they get here? How did they get to Mexico to come across the border?
Right.
That's the bigger question. If we find the answer to that question, I think we find a lot of answers to this whole immigration. And not only that, the pandemic and everything. Because maybe the idea is we keep bringing people in and keep holding the American citizens down with all kind of viruses and diseases and all kind of other stuff. They found plague. The plague in Del Rio.
Yeah. Not to mention, we're going to, make sure that we stack the voter rolls to go towards the Democrats.
Not the right color, evidently. Hey, I'm sorry, you're a little too dark. You're going to have to go home.
It's just messed up.
It's sad. But the Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, talked about, hey, don't come because we don't play like that. You're going to be sent home. Here's what he had to say about the whole, you're going to be sent home. We're done with you guys.
If you come to the United States illegally, you will be returned. Your journey will not succeed, and you will be endangering your life and your family's lives. This administration is committed to developing safe, orderly, and humane pathways for migration, but this is not the way to do it.
I just beg to ask the question. This has been going on for months since Biden has gotten office. 9 months.
Why is this the first time we're having this conversation? Why is this the first time? I mean, of course, initially when Biden first got into office, it was like, come on, bring it. Our doors are open. Bring them all. And now it's like, oh, well, don't come this way.
Yeah, we're spending billions of dollars. And but if you're Haitian, sorry, you're too black for Joe Biden. We knew he was a racist. Some of the things he said about black people, we knew Biden was a racist.
Maybe the large black population in Cuba was a big reason too. Who knows?
Maybe now we get the confirmation. But probably the craziest story, based down at the border, they tried to make it out to be that Border Patrol was cracking the whip on Haitian migrants and Del Rio with whips and horses. I'm going to show you the picture, and I want you to look at it. Anybody that has lived in Texas, Montana, South Dakota, or has ever ridden a horse know that that's not a whip. That's the lead of the horse. Show the picture, Will. Oh, it's not actually a whip. It's the lead of the horse. Oh. Maybe he's trying to rein him in. I don't know, but it's not actually a whip.
Well, and even if it was, I mean, those people are facing him. They're walking towards him. They're not afraid. They're not, shying away like he's whipping him. They're walking right up to the horse. He's just swinging that thing. He's not hitting him with it. I mean, the whole thing.
Well, the whole thing. I mean, next they'll be saying they're lynching him up.
Well, we got to paint the Border Patrol in the worst possible light. But the fact that we're deporting all these people when we're letting all these South Americans come in, unvetted, unvaccinated, whatever, we're allowing all these people to come in with COVID, and then we're shipping them all around the country, and they don't think that's spreading the disease more.
No, that's not spreading the disease. But these Haitians, they need to go.
Yep.
Looks like 24 GOP governors calling for the Biden administration to meet and solve the U.S. southern border crisis once and for all. So they sent a joint letter today to the White House saying, enough already. Can we fix this? Can we fix this? Joe Biden, probably not gonna fix it. Celebrating a 3-day weekend this weekend in Delaware, riding his bike. He ain't got time for all this foolishness.
Nope.
Now they're talking about vaccinating kids 5 to 11. Dr. Fauci was on TV over the weekend and said, maybe it's time to start vaccinating the kids from 5 years old to 11 years old. So
I'm sorry, let's take the next group of people who are even less at risk than the teenagers. I mean, the teenagers are like next to no risk.
Right.
20-year-olds next to no risk. But let's take the next group, the kids who are even less at risk, and let's start vaccinating them. And then, make sure that, because we don't know all the long-term effects. Let's just endanger our kids with something that they're not really in danger from to begin with.
I see a lot of people posting up stuff. Well, you don't know what's in this. You don't know what's in that. And you might be right. I don't know exactly what was in the smallpox vaccination. But I do know this much. It took them a long time to approve it. And they studied this thing.
And we have a very minute, and still, are there people that are allergic, people that still can't take it? Absolutely. We have a very minute number of actual side effects that led to something, including death. But with coronavirus, already the vaccine has led to many more deaths than all of the other vaccinations put together over the last 30 years.
Guy had never had heart conditions before, but after the vaccination had heart conditions, ended up dying from the vaccine. Crazy stories. And I don't think kids, by the way, mortality rate for kids under the age of 17 in the United States, still hovering less than 400 individuals. 400. That's it. What's the story we had that there were more kids that are killed in Chicago by gunfire than killed by
coronavirus nationwide?
Oh,
just more kids died from gun violence in Chicago than died nationwide from coronavirus.
Wow. Thank you very much for that tidbit of information. Well, Black Lives Matters. We haven't heard about Black Lives Matter. It's been several months, but they are a little ticked off. And the Black Lives Matters chapter is going to be protesting to support the Texas tourists accused of assaulting a New York City hostess. Now, this all happened because they wanted the vaccine passport. They wanted the vaccination card to let them in the restaurant, and that's when the trouble began. Well, Black Lives Matters saying that this is another form of discrimination and more to divide black folks. And for the first time, I'm in agreement with what they're saying. I don't know about the black folks, but it's definitely is to divide the vaccinated against the the people that are, anti-vaccinate. And so Black Lives Matters might have a point, but they say they plan a big protest. And as you watch this, look, if somebody tells me that I can't go in their restaurant, you know what I'm going to say? Okay. I'm going to go spend my money somewhere where they want my money. And, but
it's all about you. It's all about YouTube and hits and outrage and making sure they make a big splash. And it's okay for them to assault people or to harass people at restaurants or whatever whenever they're pushing their agenda. But, God forbid.
But, so here's the video from the big melee that happened. And actually, you had people that were assaulted. Where are the charges?
Oh! Oh my God! What the?
So not cool. Look, if they tell you that you need a vaccine card to get in the restaurant, bye. I'll see you later.
Damn, bro, pull up your pants, too.
I'm telling you, dude. I mean, come on. I don't want to see a man's underwear. I'm just saying.
I mean, they're pretty red, but I don't want to see them.
I really don't want to see them. By the way, that all started in prison as a sign that you are available for a little something on the side in the cell. Yeah, maybe that was too much information. I digress. Looks like Virginia police took a suspect into custody earlier today. Another high school shooting. At least 4 people were injured, including 2 victims with gunshot wounds. Some of the other people were injured because, once the gunshot starts, people are trying to exit as fast as possible. But Newport News police say that Heritage High School students gathered on a tennis court outside the school building. Police said that they announced a male juvenile suspect was taken into custody earlier today. By the way, that happened about 11:38 today, and that's where the shooting happened. And crazy story, the male, 17 years old, faces charges, and the rest is that's about all we know at this point. And if it's a juvenile that perpetrated this crime, we probably will not know a whole bunch about it.
Not right away, anyway. No.
Joe Biden, boy, I tell you what, last week he was upset, spoke out about the chant, duck Joe Biden, duck Joe Biden. Well, that's kind of the way it sounds, duck Joe Biden. And for the 3rd straight week in college football, the chant continues. It started off early in the day at the University of Wyoming. Here's what they were doing. And then we had to go to the bluegrass state, Kentucky. Kentucky with the same message for Joe Biden. And SEC looks like Georgia also jumped on the bandwagon to duck Joe Biden. Duck Joe Biden! Duck Joe Biden! And by the way, as you look at those crowds for college football and NFL and coming soon, of course, Major League Basketball or National Basketball Association, you know the difference between those situations and, of course, your kids going to school? Everybody in school wearing a mask. Nobody wearing a mask at the college football games. I don't know if
there was nobody, was there?
Nobody
fully
is wearing.
Packed. No masks.
Looks like Chuck Schumer is very, very upset. The Senate parliamentarian Elizabeth McDuff ruled that the Democrats can't include a provision aimed at giving millions of illegal immigrants a pathway to citizenship. Of course, that would have been part of the infrastructure bill, $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill to give all these illegals that came into the country, millions of illegals, a pathway to citizenship. I don't know how to tell these people. We already have a pathway to citizenship. We have the green card program that we give out 1 million green cards every single year in and year out, and we do have a pathway to citizenship, but they ruled that they can't add that in because that's not what it's designed to do. Congress first used the exemption in 1980 to process that allows the expedite to be considered certain tax, spending, and debt limits. It does not include illegal aliens. So, sorry, that's not going to work for the Democrats. Republicans were also, I think, before this happened, had the votes because they had 3 Democrats on board to vote with them against this infrastructure bill if it contained pathway to citizenship for illegals.
Yep.
Looks like stocks today dropped, and if you were keeping up with the market, stock market goes down about 500 points, and I think this is the first time since May that the stock market went down. Any idea, Will Rooney, why the numbers have gone down?
Nothing that I saw that was definitive, like why there was a reason why everything was dropped, but just I think more and more insecurity in a lot of different areas. I think the border, I think COVID, I think a lot of things have a lot to do with it.
China worries about the debt with China And that's the deciding thing is the debt with China is we could have a housing market crash. Last time we had a housing market crash was in 2008 under Obama. And I am thinking that we're going to have another stock market crash and another
Very
housing
likely.
crash. And so I'm in the process of selling some silver, even though I'm like, maybe I ought to hold on to it for a couple more months and then sell it. I think that would be the prudent thing to do because when the stock market crashes, silver and gold are supposed to go up. I haven't checked it today. Been doing other things. Big rally, Justice for G6 rally held near the Capitol over the weekend. Did you see some of the people that showed up for this, Will?
I did. Yeah.
FBI undercover guys. You couldn't tell they were undercover. Oh, wait, those look exactly like Trump supporters, right? They've got the buzz cut. They've got, yeah. Huh. Oh, the guy in the back actually had a pair of skinny shorts on.
And they showed other pictures of some of these guys with guns, with hidden guns and this and that. And of course, one of the guys that was wearing a mask that was armed, they rushed him and surrounded him with all these armed riot troopers. And at some point, they pulled out his badge and realized, oh, wait a minute, this is one of the undercover cops.
I should have posted the picture of the guys that were dressed. I'm like, damn, they were expecting something. But about 400 people showed up. It was not a big deal. And look, we're learning every day that January 6th was not exactly what January 6th was. They call it an insurrection, but we've had multiple Capitol police officers that have been, reprimanded for allowing protesters in. In fact, even come on in, let's go, get on over here. So, there were a handful of people that were arrested. That's pretty much it. And no word on why they were arrested, but it was nonviolent. It was pretty much nonviolent. January 6th was pretty much nonviolent until a handful of people got into the Capitol building, and the rest was history. But everything else,
all the people that got arrested, which is what the rally was for, was the justice for all the people that got arrested that didn't do anything.
Right. We got a friend of ours that got arrested, and it looks like his charges could be dropped because they just don't have enough information.
Well, they don't have, but he didn't do anything. I mean, he was on the steps. Yes, that was a big no-no apparently. But he didn't go inside the building. He wasn't violent. They were praying outside. Like I said, he was on the step, but they were allowed to go up on the. They were allowed to go up on the stairs, but he was held without bail for how long and without getting to see his lawyer?
13 days without a phone call for a misdemeanor charge. By God, you try pulling that crap on Black Lives Matters. We'll see how far it gets you. Supreme Court is going to be hearing oral arguments to challenge Roe versus Wade. By the way, that's coming up in December. So they're going to be talking about this. And it's really going to be the deciding factor of the Mississippi abortion law. And Texas probably will go to the Supreme Court also. This might, depending on which way the Supreme Court votes, this could be the deciding factor in many states when it comes to abortion.
Could be setting precedent for some of these laws.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that that states have the right to enact their own ruling when it comes to gun control, abortions, but they don't have the same right when it comes to vaccine mandates.
Huh.
I would think it would work both ways. Maybe not. At my college, Louisiana State University, students they're going to be expelled if they do not meet the vaccine mandate. It was amazing as I did a little research on this story, the people protesting. And Did you know there's 750,000 rapists and child predators in this country? Almost 1 million people in this country are rapists, child predators, and that type of stuff.
Wow.
Why shouldn't they have to have a, I don't know, child rapist card everywhere they go and have to show it? How many of them would be denied entry into, restaurants and that type of stuff? So kids being expelled for not having their vaccination card, by the way, fully vaccinated, the date is October 15th. If you're not fully vaccinated, you're going to be kicked out of school. They're not the only college that has done this. Many other colleges have done this, but to expel kids, and how many of these kids are actually doing online learning? But you still have to have the vaccine under the Louisiana law. Or mandate, not law. Let me make sure and correct that. Mandate, not law. What's the difference between a law and a mandate, Will?
Well, a mandate is like a suggestion that's actually not something that's enforceable, supposedly.
Yeah, supposedly. Yeah, that's a great deal. A law has been vetted, went to House, Senate, governor signed off on it. I mean, it has a period of time. Yeah, a period of time where people can go and discuss it. But mandate just means, hey, you're going to do it and because we said to do it. I don't know how that works. By the way, more and more states are coming out and saying no to this vaccine mandate.
Not only no, but hell no.
No, not just no, but hell no. And it's amazing that Congress gets a pass. They're not going to be mandated. Postal Service is going to get a pass. Why are they not mandated? I mean, you know what?
Apparently, Pfizer employees get a pass.
Oh, really?
Apparently, there was a whole list of people who get a pass.
Wow.
And
Awesome.
So Congress and all these members of these different the FDA, the employees of the FDA don't have to get vaccinated. They have a pass.
Illegals, amnesty seekers, people just flooding across the border, none of those people have to have it. But if you're a citizen, and more importantly, a taxpayer, you got to have it. OSHA is coming down on our businesses. I personally know oil field companies that are mandating because they have no choice, because OSHA will shut their butt down. There's one organization you never want to mess with. That's OSHA. I'll deal with the IRS before I deal with OSHA.
Well, OSHA is supposed to be there to protect the employee, not to protect the employer, I thought.
No.
I thought OSHA was supposed to be there to protect the worker. And
I don't
that's
think they're
not
protecting anybody.
And getting the vaccine when it's, and what about the people? So if you're allergic and you have a doctor's excuse, or if you have a religious exemption, do they still force you, or are you still going to get fired?
There are no religious exemptions anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's not true.
The military has come forward. Military is another one that is losing pilots, and the Marines have come forward and said we're not going to enforce this. But how many pilots are we going to lose? How many doctors? How many nurses are we going to lose?
Sad. A lot.
So we're ready to completely start over. We paid for the training for all these pilots, and we're just going to kind of like say, okay, we'll go away because you won't get the vaccination. Huh.
Well, I think more and more people need to stand up, and if you have questions about it, I mean, look, I think for some it's your decision. I'm not gonna bust anybody up for getting the vaccine. I mean, you're vaccinated, I'm unvaccinated. I just respect people's choice. Come on.
Yeah, I agree. More and more crisis after crisis under this Biden administration, and nobody is speaking up about these 7 kids that were killed last week when a drone strike took out a negotiator and 7 kids in Afghanistan. Has Biden apologized? Biden hasn't done anything. It's pretty sad.
The Pentagon half-ass apologized, and of course, and then I saw, and I don't know, this kind of makes me a little suspect about it, but I saw one of the fathers of one of the kids was demanding monetary, compensation.
I'm like, sure, look, he's going to get it.
If my 3-year-old just got killed by a drone strike that was meant for terrorists, monetary is not what I'm really concerned about.
No. And let's talk about this is not on our list today. General Milley. General Milley should be tried on treason. Tried on treason, and that should happen pretty darn quick. It's amazing the way that America is starting to shape up. We're starting to look like a third world country with tent cities and shanties and that type of stuff. People bathing in the Rio Grande. And in the meantime, Joe Biden's too busy to answer questions. He's biking, damn it. He's biking. Him and the wife are biking. I'm actually surprised that dude can stay on the bike.
I know that first video we showed. I thought for sure we were going to see him do an endo.
I was hoping. I mean, it would make
Look,
great video.
I don't wish any.
Well, I don't want him to get hurt, but it would make great video.
I mean, as his age, he's going to break a hip if he goes down.
I mean, if he falls asleep, and think about this: if you're a resident of that town, first of all, every time that Biden goes there, they got to shut everything down. And then he wants to go on a bike ride. That's got to shut everything down. I would be pissed. I'm sitting on the side of the road. I would be,
I'm late to work because Biden wanted to go for a bike. Right.
Duck Joe Biden. That would be me, but, I would try to be a little classier, but it would be tough. So that's all I got tonight. By the way, we'll be back Thursday for the New Mexico edition. And Thursday, your calendar's clear?
It is. At the
Mine's
moment.
clear? We're pretty, at the moment. Yeah, at the moment. So we should be good to go. So that's all I got, Will. Don't
all right,
forget
well,
to
good deal.
Like and subscribe. Subscribe.
Please do.
Hit
Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when we come on. And make sure, don't forget, too, if you don't have time to watch and you just want to listen, you can do that on any of the Podbean or podcast platforms. Podbean's one of them. You can go to iTunes. You can go to Amazon. You can anywhere that we stream podcasts. You can find Two Bald Guys on the Right. And we hope to see you there, see you here. And definitely thank you guys for all the comments and the likes. We appreciate all those. And it helps our algorithm and all that kind of good stuff. And we will talk to you again on Thursday with the New Mexico edition.
Thank you, guys.